Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Triple Play Podcast. The only podcast where you'll find two guys just waiting on the Braves to win that last game, or
Yeah.
the Mets to just go ahead and lose. So
Yeah.
just whichever one.
Hey, they got a doubleheader tomorrow. They're gonna lose one of them, I
The
promise.
Mets are got a doubleheader tomorrow. Oh, the
Yeah,
Nationals
yeah.
taking one out of every doubleheader.
No, yeah. The game got postponed today from I think Hurricane Ian messed with it a little bit.
Got it. So, but anyway, back to football.
Yeah, yeah.
Nick, tell them what we're talking about today. Going to be a spicy one.
Each of us have 5 takeaways after week four's conclusion, and I'm gonna cover the AFC, and Kobe, you have the NFC.
Yeah, and I think, usually after week four, you're a quarter of the way through the season. So
Mm-hmm.
technically this is our quarter
Yeah,
point,
close enough.
that a lot of times by that 17th game, things are kind of decided anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I say we go back and forth, just pick one of our talk about it for just a second, then go to
Yeah.
the other person and so
All
on and
right.
so forth. I'm going to try to go least controversial well, I don't have anything that's controversial, but I mean, I think these things are absolute facts.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try to go from most obvious to least obvious. I,
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
say. Um. So, I mean, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
No, you go ahead and go first. You go ahead and go first.
Um. But I'll go ahead and say one that we were talking about right beforehand. I'll go ahead and start out with the fact that the Rams are no longer the team to beat in the NFC.
I completely agree.
They've come out flat, and it's all about what you're doing when you get hot, around playoff time and everything. They definitely have the talent. You never know who they could add. I think they definitely need to add another wide receiver weapon to help out.
Mm.
Matt Stafford needs somebody else to throw to. Allen Robinson is okay. Higby is okay. Um, but it's pretty obvious they need somebody else. And in my opinion, right now, the Philadelphia Eagles are the team to beat in the NFC.
I agree.
Got any more analysis on that? What are you feeling about the Rams right now?
I feel like if Cooper Kupp didn't find the end zone 2 or 3 times, they aren't scoring much. That's just how it feels. Like Cam Akers ain't doing much, and then Kupp and Higby are the only two people getting the ball much, and Higby ain't no like extreme playmaker. He's all right, but he's not some kind of
Yeah,
Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews or anything like that.
yeah,
But
absolutely. And I think and teams are starting to figure it out. Like
yep.
Cooper Kupp is a good enough player to get open and stuff, but like
Mm-hmm.
just a second ago, the 49ers pick six, like that was the most telegraphed screenplay I've ever seen to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Like it's just pretty obvious at this point. Like, hey, we're down. We need to just throw it to Cooper Kupp all the way down
Mm-hmm.
the field. Let's do that. So, and it doesn't seem like they're really willing to throw it down the field right now at all.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Still, they're not doing that. Like they're screen passing and short passing and slants across the middle, and it's just not what you would expect out of the Rams right now.
It's not what you expect from a offense led by Matt Stafford
Yeah,
because he
absolutely.
is a pretty prolific passer in my opinion, and he's just I think his arms bother him or something. I think that's why they're having to play like this.
And they may still be being precautious just to try to ease him in. Then later in the season, they're just like, all right, well, now it's time. Like, let's just go
Yeah.
all out, whatever. But anyway, I thought that was my pretty obvious one
Mm-hmm.
there. I definitely put the Eagles ahead of them. Uh, the way Tampa Bay played against the Chiefs the other day, probably put Tampa Bay ahead of them. I think like Minnesota and Green Bay is probably like right around there. I don't know. Like Minnesota still worries me a lot, man. But anyway, we'll go ahead, go over to you. Give me a least controversial one.
A least controversial
Yeah,
one.
something that everybody, like if you asked your average Joe on the sidewalk, he might be able to tell you, kind of, sort of.
I'm gonna say that 4 of the top 5 MVP candidates reside in the AFC.
Okay, you want to name those four?
Lamar, Josh Allen,
Hmm.
Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty
Yep. And then
just about
I do think
obvious.
that Jalen Hurts is the other one, and I think he's probably second or third.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is close right now. I don't think
No, he
Tom Brady's
just
even close.
no. If Brady
Uh,
can keep having weeks like this past week, maybe. I mean, obviously they lost, but Brady still looked like Brady again. If he can keep doing that, maybe he can, come in the conversation at some point.
yeah. If I was thinking number 6, I might would think like Cooper Cup, even
Yeah,
just without his
probably.
numbers.
Mm,
But no, I think you're pretty. Guys that you thought would be in Kyler Murray, you kind of thought he would be in the conversation. He's not.
nope.
Like you said, Aaron Rodgers, you thought he would be in the conversation. Um, I
I'll
mean,
be
after
honest with
that,
you. I think before the injury, I think Tua would have been up there.
yeah, just for based on numbers here at the
Hmm.
beginning. Now the
Yeah.
the 100 and something passing yard game that he had not just a little bit ago there hurt him. But I do think injury does play a big role in it, and I
Yeah.
think that obviously if you miss time it hurts.
Yeah.
But no, who do you have as your absolute front runner right now? You had to
It would
say,
have been Lamar had he
yeah.
not just kind of looked bad on Sunday. But it is Josh Allen right now as my front runner. I think.
Yeah, leading
I
that
think it
come from
is.
behind win. I
Yeah.
know the numbers weren't where they needed to be. I think he's up
Yeah.
there. Pat
But
Mahomes inserted himself in, I
hmm
believe, with that game last
yeah, that
night.
was that was that was a statement they made against a very very good Buccaneers defense.
Uh-huh.
But and I think I will speak in Josh Allen's defense. He was hitting a lot of hands, but the hands were a little slippery. It was
Yeah.
raining pretty bad there at the
Yeah.
start.
Absolutely, I agree. And
Um,
you've seen, I'd say at least every one of those guys have had some sort of downish game where the stats weren't. It's not they
yeah,
played
yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah,
It's
right.
just the stats weren't there.
Hmm.
So, anything
All
else you
right.
want to finish up on that one?
No, not on that one. We can move on to your next one.
um, I like this one here. Each division in the NFC has a quarterback that I feel like is resurging, like is kind of waking up, either was good or and kind of fell off, or is finally waking up and becoming the guy he needs to be. In the NFC East, I think Daniel Jones is finally stepping into the role that he needs to step into
Yeah.
for the Giants, not doing too much, not trying to be the playmaker.
Hmm.
Let Saquon be the playmaker.
Yeah.
Now, what hurts Daniel Jones so much is these wide receivers can never stay healthy on this dang team, man. Like they need, if their record looks good in the next couple weeks, they need to go out and get a guy. They
DJ
need a
Moore.
I don't know, like DJ Moore on that team. Maybe they go after. Uh
If the Ravens are out of it, you think they get rid of Rashad Bateman?
no, I just don't think the Ravens will ever be out of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know who else I would say is like, oh, they're gonna be out of it. They're willing to trade a guy. Like you might could get DJ Chark from Detroit. That's not a guy that's gonna change anything for you though. Um, Gosh, I don't know, but anyway, I mean, you know what I mean. I don't, Brandon Cooks might be a guy. He's moved around the league a little bit.
Yeah.
He might be a guy. Okay, as far as the NFC North, Jared Goff has hit a resurgence here at the
Yeah.
beginning of the year and looked better than he did in the Super Bowl run that he had with
Yeah.
the Rams. Like he has really looked great. You can tell there's no pressure. Like this team doesn't feel pressure, man.
Mm-mm.
Like they're just playing. They're free
They
playing.
they know that everyone sees. Oh, we're playing the Detroit Lions this week. That's just gonna be an easy like, stomp. But it's just
Absolutely.
not. They're a little bit better than everyone thinks they are,
Yeah.
and teams take them for granted.
Absolutely. And then before the injury, I feel like Jameis Winston was having a year that he could have felt pretty good about.
Hmm.
3 games, almost 900 passing yards.
Yeah,
I know he had 5 picks, but
that's just Jameis,
a
man.
couple, I'm telling you what, a couple of his picks wasn't his fault, man. So, I mean, that's always going to be every quarterback. He's going to have a
Yeah,
couple of picks that wasn't his fault. But, I mean, the dude was playing with 3 fractures in his back, throws for over 300 yards, makes Chris
yeah.
Olave look like a stud rook. So, I mean, I thought Jameis Winston was really having a good turn up here. And then Seattle Seahawks, man, Geno finally having his moment, man. And you
Dude,
can't argue with the stats. Dude looked
no,
good.
yeah, he's looked amazing so far,
And he has
especially for like, yeah, he has no pressure either.
no pressure at all. Like this dude's playing free for sure. Look at another guy in that division, Kyler Murray. He acts like he's playing so tense that he can't stand it sometimes. In the second half against Carolina, he finally loosened up, started running a little bit and stuff. But you got Geno out there that is running the ball a little bit. He's throwing the ball down the field now. The first couple weeks, we were worried about those wide receivers. Now I feel like as long as it's not a crazy defensive matchup, Metcalf and Lockett are good looking starts for you just because he's
Hmm.
feeling comfortable. So, but no, I thought it was cool to point out that not only are the top quarterbacks looking good, but I feel like a couple other quarterbacks in each division are turning up the tempo just a little bit this season.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, what you got for me?
The Colts will not make the playoffs. No shot.
I hear you. I
Yeah.
hear you on
They're
that for
just they're
sure.
just really, really, really disappointing me, man. 1, 2, and 1. They somehow sneak out a win against the Chiefs, but they have tied the Texans and lost. Who all did they lose to? And it was just
Lost
the
to the Titans,
Titans and who else?
the Jaguars. Jaguars
And the
stomped them.
Jaguars. Yeah, 24-0, dude.
Now I ain't gonna say that the Titans aren't competitive. I ain't gonna say that the Jaguars ain't come around and been competitive.
Yeah.
The Texans, that was just a surprise, but we just had such high expectations for the
Mm-hmm.
Colts, for sure. What do you think would be the problem there? What's the problem with the Colts, you think?
I don't even know. Like when I look at the stat sheet, nobody really plays that awful, and then they just lose. Like it feels like they just get outplayed, and I don't know. I think Matt Ryan is old. The O line isn't as good as everyone thought it was. He's getting sacked 4 or 5 times a game, and Matt Ryan's used to it. Don't get me wrong. He got sacked 5 times a game every game in Atlanta for his entire career.
Yeah, 15 sacks through 4 games.
Yeah, that's
Matt Ryan's
dang.
old, guys. Let's think
Yeah,
about this.
how old is Matt Ryan? Actually,
I don't know. I have to look that. Hold on, I can click on his name right here. 37.
37. Good Lord.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
I can tell you right now, getting hit by some of them 350 pounders on the D line, that can't feel good.
Yeah, and like Jonathan Taylor just hasn't been.
Yeah, I think
That
that's the big killer. Yeah.
he hasn't been the top 5 running back that they need him to be.
Yeah.
And he's on the injury report. I mean, this guy could miss Thursday. I was talking about it yesterday when we reviewed that Colts
Hmm.
game. I know that he had left the game for just a little bit, and I told you that I thought he'd pop up on the injury report there. And sure enough, like he went through tests today. I didn't really look at it too much, but probably missing Thursday's game. So I'm interested to see what Matt Ryan does when he doesn't feel like he has to hand the ball off to somebody.
Yeah.
It may make him more comfortable. You never know. Sometimes a guy worries so much about getting his teammate the ball, and then when he's finally able to just kind of be free, he does a little better.
Yeah.
No, I get it. That defense hasn't been.
It hasn't been as advertised either.
No, no, definitely not. So offensive line, yeah, like you said, the
But
offensive
to
line supposed to be the best in NFL.
but to be honest with you though, the defense hasn't been that bad. I don't think like what's the most points they've given up? 24?
Yeah,
That's not that bad.
yeah. You'd think that offense could score 24 points.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like I think we're just expecting more. I think part of it is Jonathan Taylor has not been Jonathan Taylor this year.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just a
And
lot of things.
they had 1 week without Michael Pittman too, didn't they?
Yeah, and then Michael Pittman had a really down week this past week where he's just like not there, which it helps having a solid 2 option. You'd like to think that Mo Alley Cox could be that, but he's just never really been that guy. He's never been consistent. You need another 2 wide. You need a 2 wide receiver there. If they somehow get competitive here, win a couple ball games, they might go out and get a guy. You never know.
Yeah, they might.
Um, anything else you want to add on them?
No, not on
I
the
just think that's a
Colts.
good take. That's a pretty
Yeah.
solid take. Um, I'm gonna say this one. We're gonna go back to a team we've already kind of like grazed a little bit.
All right.
Right now, on paper, they are the number 1 offense in the NFL. Now, do I think when it's all said and done, will they be? No, absolutely not. But I do think they're a top 10 offense throughout the season right now. That is the Detroit Lions. Because first of all, their defense can't stop anybody. They're going to have to score points. They don't have a choice. And they've risen to that occasion. They're 1-3, but I'm telling you, they have scored 140 points. That
It's
is
more
the
than
most in
yeah.
the NFL by, let's see.
I think the Bills have like 130 something.
The Bills have 114.
Oh,
The Ravens have 119. Closest team. Nope. Well, the Chiefs have 129.
okay.
So, and you're telling me the Detroit Lions have scored more points than the Chiefs, and they are 1-3. But their defense has allowed 141, which is also the most in the NFL. But I want to talk about a couple pieces here that's made this team into the best offense. First of
Okay.
all, Jared Goff. They got rid of him not St. Louis. They got rid of him in Los Angeles because they wanted a better guy, Matthew Stafford, that could lead them to a ship. Hey, did it, won the Super Bowl. That's great. But Jared Goff gets kind of pushed to the side, gets traded off to Detroit. Jamal Williams, who is now the starting running back right now while DeAndre Swift is out, was a great 2 option in Green Bay, gets pushed out for A.J. Dillon. Okay, A.J. Dillon's the 2 guy. Amon-Ra St. Brown, like the 7th wide receiver off the board in his draft, can name every single guy that went ahead of him. Might be lower than that. Not a guy that's tall, not a guy that's big, seen as a little bit of a risk. DJ Chark never really was, he showed flashes for the Jaguars. They changed coaches. DJ, we out. Well, we're not about it, DJ. It's okay. Josh Reynolds, a great option for the Rams whenever guys would be out, like Cooper Kupp, or if Odell was out, or back when they had Robert Woods when he was out. Josh Reynolds was the guy that they went to as like the next option. He gets pushed out. They've got different wide receiver group now. Josh Reynolds comes over, has a good week this past week with DJ Chark and Amon-Ra out.
Yeah.
And then you got to talk about TJ Hawkinson, who's been the one staple guy who has been there. Like he has been there, and he had a great week this past week, stepped up for the team when they needed him to. This offense is the island of misfit toys that nobody else wanted, and they have come together and looked very, very formidable because I just think they're playing loose, man. They don't care. Like everybody wrote us off, and guess what? We're here and we're ready to play some ball.
Yeah.
So you tell me what you think about it.
I agree. If it weren't for them being 1-3 and having the worst defense in football, they could be a legitimate playoff contender. And it doesn't seem so crazy to say that they are a legitimate playoff contender just because they've had the best offense in football.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do think if they want to be competitive this year, they do need to make some kind of defensive upgrades.
Yeah, they'd have to make them immediately too if they
Yeah.
wanted to go all in on this year. They've got some young guys. They got Jeff Okudah. They've got the guy they drafted first thing in the draft this year. The defensive end. Can't remember what his name is for the life of me. I want to say Hutchinson, but I don't want to butcher it. I don't know. But you've got to if you're not going to do it right now, I think that your offense has showed how competitive they can be. DeAndre Swift gets another year older. Everybody grows together for another year. You go in free agency and you get the guys you need. You get the veteran leadership that you need on that defense to make a playoff run.
Yeah.
But no, it's exciting to see. It's exciting to see.
And I think Lions fans, even though the Lions are 1-3, I think Lions fans have had more fun this season than they've had in I don't know how long.
Oh, they having more fun than the Panthers. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Gosh almighty.
I have
I'd
a lot more
rather.
fun when I watch the Lions than when I watch the Panthers.
Absolutely. Phew, goodness. All right, Nick, give me another point here. We should be amping it up just a little bit, getting a little closer to these big talks.
If the Bengals O-line can continue this improvement of protecting Burrow, only like against a very, very good Miami defense. He got sacked once and got hit 2 other times.
Yeah.
that's great. Like if you're doing that every week, I won't complain about it. But one time, whenever he
Yeah.
gets sacked at one time.
Yeah.
But if they can do that, I really, really, really think the Bengals can be the top team in the AFC.
I tell you what, man, that's a big one there.
That it's a big one,
You've
but I'm
got
telling you,
so many good teams.
there are so many good teams, but there were so many good teams last year. And what did the Bengals do with a very crappy O line?
Yeah. Whew. Goodness, the AFC is just so stacked,
It
dude.
is. It
Think
is.
about this: 7 teams make the playoffs. Let me give you 7 names real quick:
I know.
Dolphins,
Mm-hmm.
Bills,
Mm-hmm.
Bengals,
Mm-hmm.
Ravens,
Yep.
Chiefs,
Mm-hmm.
Chargers,
Yep.
and let's just say Tennessee's a team that I think could make it. Good night. Gosh almighty. What a.
I'm gonna be honest. That top six is loaded, and then I think seven could be. I mean, the Titans, the
The
Jaguars,
Jaguars.
maybe.
Maybe Denver turns it around.
I don't know. I don't like Denver
They're
right
still
now,
two
man.
and two. I mean, like I don't think Cleveland's gonna hold up.
Yeah, but it's an ugly 2-2. I'll be honest. I have more faith in Cleveland doing better than I do the Broncos doing better, just because they just look bad.
I
Like,
probably go Tennessee, Jacksonville,
mm-hmm.
then then probably Denver. I
Okay, I
do
can agree
think
with that take
Denver,
right there. Yeah, I
yeah.
can agree with that for
I
sure.
like Jacksonville, man, but like you
Yeah.
said, I think any one of those 6 teams, including the Bengals, could be
Mm-hmm.
the number 1 seed coming out of
Yeah,
this for sure.
absolutely.
That division has been kind of weird. Like you said, the Browns have started out hot here. 2-2 ain't hot, but they've looked a lot better than people thought.
Mm-hmm.
They're eventually going to get Deshaun Watson back. I do think they're going to fall off pretty quickly here. Pittsburgh might be making the switch over to Kenny Pickett.
I don't know that that's. I
They
mean,
might be like I'm just saying. I didn't say it was a good thing. That might be a
yeah.
thing that just like go ahead and like okay, we
Just let him
chilling
have
this
a
year.
year. Just let
We
him have a
chilling,
year.
yeah, we chilling this year. And then Baltimore, they've got to solve some issues themselves in their
Yeah.
not only in their secondary, but in the fact that you know they're gonna have to get the ball to Mark Andrews and Bateman more,
Mm-hmm.
like just to make plays. Duvernay is not gonna be the answer. So as far as that division goes, I definitely think the Bengals are in line to win the division. They're for sure gonna have to be at least 13-4 to get that top seed, at least.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, you think that's pretty reasonable?
13-4 is very reasonable for the top seed, but I don't know that. I think if they played the first 2 weeks like they've played the past 2 weeks, they'd be 4-0, and then I'd say 13-4 is very achievable. With the like, they have a good schedule to be able to be like they would be like 10-1 possibly at one point,
Yeah.
and then you're like, dang, 13-4 is very, very legitimate and possible.
Well, San
But
Francisco put the Rams away.
that defense, man.
There you go, man. They play like Zorros one week, play like zeros the next. Anything else? Sorry to cut you off there.
No,
Anything
no, no.
else you
You're
want to
good.
add
You're
on the
good. You're good.
Bengals? Um,
I also think that if the Bengals O line keeps improving, this will really, really help Burrow, Chase, and Higgins fantasy owners
I
in
feel
all aspects.
I'm feeling pretty good as a Higgins fantasy owner
Yeah, I
already.
mean, same.
Like, feeling good about him. I know Chase. People want to see a little bit more out of him, but all right. You ready to go on to another NFC one?
That's good with me.
There are 16 teams in the NFC. There are only 3, maybe 2 in some people's opinions, running back situations that I'm avoiding in the NFC.
In the entire NFC, let me go look at just every team so
So,
I'm looking
Eagles,
at it.
Miles Sanders, a
And Jalen
dummy
Hurts.
week. A dummy week. Yeah, yeah, you're right. A dummy week this past week.
Yeah.
Dallas, Zeke and Pollard have looked serviceable enough in some weeks to be your flex.
Mm-hmm.
Zeke's going to get enough work to be your flex guy. Giants, Saquon. He's
Mm-hmm.
fine. Here's one of my stay away froms. Washington. Antonio Gibson is going down, 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 and Brian Robinson is going to be activated as soon as Thursday. See what his workload is. Maybe he's the new guy that you're grabbing. Minnesota, Dalvin Cook, you're fine with
Mm-hmm.
him. Green Bay, Aaron Jones has looked like the guy that you really do want to have. You're probably not absolutely upset if you had to play A.J. Dillon because he could get in the end zone.
Yeah.
Chicago, Khalil Herbert is, they're always going to have an every down guy. So when David Montgomery comes back, he's still the every down guy. You love to
Mm-hmm.
have him.
Yeah.
Khalil Herbert's the every down guy right now. You feel pretty good about that. Detroit, DeAndre Swift. When DeAndre Swift's out, Jamal Williams is
Mm-hmm.
great. Um, Tampa Bay, Leonard Fournette. I know this past week wasn't what you wanted it to be, but his
It
usage
was just
just in the passing game makes you want to put him in
mm-hmm.
for sure.
And I really, really think that it was just such a weird week because they got down so big early that they just eliminated running the ball. They just were passing all the time, letting Brady be Brady.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
and that was this week was Fournette's highest scoring week so far. He scored like
Yeah.
18.5 or something, you know.
Yep.
And I think he had like 7 receptions or something stupid though.
Yep. Exactly. Atlanta, here's another one you might want to stay away from because Cordarrelle Patterson just went on the IR. If he didn't, I'm fine with playing
Yeah.
Cordarrelle Patterson. He's a stud. So now you're looking at two youngster running backs. So maybe one of those guys becomes more of a workhorse, and then you're fine taking that guy. Carolina, Christian McCaffrey, you're
Mm-hmm.
fine with. New Orleans, when Alvin Kamara's on the field, you're fine with him. If
Mm-hmm.
not, it's hard because they're splitting time. Latavius Murray, Mark Ingram, they're not terrible. They're just splitting time. So, but if Alvin Kamara's on the field, you're playing Alvin Kamara.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco, um, crap. Uh, what am I forgetting here? What am I doing? I not know his name. What am I doing? I'm just hitting a blank here. Jeff Wilson Jr. My
Yeah.
name is Jeff, bro. My name is Jeff Wilson. Um, like what am I doing? Golly. All right. Even tonight, 74 and a touchdown. He's the guy. So you're fine with starting him, especially in this offense where people are probably worried about Debo getting the ball. Uh, for the Rams, they feed Cam Akers enough for him to be in your flex, and you don't feel good about it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel good about it, but they feed him enough to be in your flex. Arizona, when James Conner is healthy, they give him enough work, especially around the goal line, to be the guy that you need him to be. Kyler Murray needs to heat up a little bit, get him down near the goal line a little more. But if James Conner is healthy, you're probably playing him. This is the last one that I was kind of on the fence about here with Seattle. I know what Rashad Penny did this past week, but I also know what he's done in weeks past too. This one's the shakiest one, but I also feel better about it than I do the Falcons situation or the
Mm-hmm.
Washington situation.
Yep.
So if I had to start Rashad Penny, I would. But running back wise, I do think that's where the NFC, like as a whole, has a little bit of a leg up over the AFC.
Yeah.
Because the AFC has a lot of situations where the quarterback and the wide receivers are the superstars, and the running backs just have to take such a big back seat.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for running backs, the NFC seems to be the place to go. If you're next year in your draft, I'm looking NFC.
Yeah. All right, Colby. Pick a number, 3 or 5.
Three. Three's a magic number. Because number 5, you probably were really digging for something juicy. I feel like.
I think they're both fairly juicy, but I think
Okay.
3 is juicier if you want me to save it for last.
All right. Now I'm going to get real juicy on mine. Whichever one you think is the juiciest, you need to say for last.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead with whatever
Okay.
you want right here.
The Raiders have a 0% chance of making the playoffs.
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one. That hit me hard, bro.
They're 1-3. Derek Carr's look pitiful. What are you doing? Like what can they do?
I know. And technically an 0-3 team has never made the playoffs.
Are the Raiders going to be the first team to do that? No.
Yeah, I find that hard to believe. They've just got too many games against too many good teams.
Yeah.
I completely understand. You want to dive into some stats about some stuff that just turns you off on the Raiders?
The non-usage of Devontae Adams, and I mean Hunter Renfro's hurt. He's got a concussion. I don't know when he's coming back. He's been out for the last 2 weeks, and I think he's going to be out for this week too. I mean, it's and Derek Carr is throwing 2 to 3 picks a game, just about, it feels like. And it has not looked good in the slightest. Like, week 1 looked okay because it was the Devontae Adams show, but Derek Carr had a slower start. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's just they just have not looked in sync in any game this year.
Yeah, no, I think Josh Jacobs has given them a lot more than what you thought.
Mm-hmm.
So that was great. Derek Carr he's always on that line of like, he's good enough, but he's not good enough. So you can never really get excited. Devontae Adams had 2 weeks in a row where the receiving yards weren't there. Last week finally got back on track. I think Darren Waller has to wake up here.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to get Darren Waller some more targets. We've got to be targeting him in the red zone. That'll be a big deal going forward. I think the Devontae Adams thing hurts Darren Waller the most
Mm-hmm.
of anybody. But I
But
understand.
then
Like I completely understand.
half the time they don't use either of them, and then and Hunter Renfro's hurt. Like, who the heck are you throwing the ball to?
Yeah.
If you're not using Devontae Adams or Darren Waller and Hunter Renfro's out, who's getting the ball?
Yeah.
A defense?
And they're gonna have to play every one of those conference teams again.
Yep. Like, I mean,
Um,
right now they pulled out a win against the Broncos, who've looked pitiful.
yeah.
They play the Chiefs. Then they've got to bye. They play the Texans. That's probably a dub. The Saints haven't looked good, but then they play Jacksonville, the Colts, the Broncos, the Seahawks, the Chargers, the Rams, the Patriots, the Steelers, the 49ers, and then the Chiefs again.
It's a lot.
It's just like
It's
I just
tough.
see so many of those being losses for the Raiders.
I understand. No, like you said, 0-3 has never made it. So why bet on them now? I get it. Hurts me. Hurts my
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be a playoff team too. I mean, I really at the beginning of the year I thought they would be a playoff team, but I just don't see it now. All right, Kobe.
I'm about to get baby. I'm
Oh
about to give
God.
you the take. The take. And I wrote down something that was a little weak, and you know what? I'm gonna go a little stronger with it right here.
God.
The NFC East is back. Okay? The NFC East might be the best division in the NFC right now. Okay, you have got the best team in the NFC in the Philadelphia Eagles. The offense looks good. The defense looks good. I don't know. They haven't had to play ball in the second half yet. So
Yeah.
I don't know. They might get winded playing against a pretty good team. Who they play next week? This could be too much. The Cardinals? You tell me
They're
the
gonna
Cardinals?
stop.
Then they play the Cowboys. I'm interested to see what actually happens in that game. Dak could be back for that game. So we're interested there. They play the Steelers, the Texans, the Commanders, the Colts. That's 4 more wins. This team could be undefeated at like 10-0. I don't know. Like that, they're good on both sides of the ball.
I'm
Dallas
gonna be
Cowboys.
completely honest with you. I don't see a team with a legitimate shot at beating them. Oh, dude.
Until the Packers, in my opinion.
And then look past the Packers, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just
It's the Cowboys twice and Green Bay. Like, those are like, and I think they can beat those teams.
I think
The Eagles have a real shot at being undefeated. Like,
the Packers Titans gets a little weird because the Titans can be weird sometimes too.
Yeah,
And
Derrick
play
Henry
really
might
good.
be some kind of god tier
Yeah.
that week.
Other than that, like maybe the Cowboys stop them. That's about
Yeah,
it. That's
but
about it.
man,
And let me get on my Michael Irvin grind for just a minute here when I talk about the Cowboys. Okay, the Cowboys, finger looking good. Okay, listen, you got Dak Prescott goes down week 1. You lose an ugly ball game. You look terrible. Okay, everybody's down. Stephen A is parading in the streets. Okay, Cooper Rush comes onto the field. Joe Montana reincarnated. Okay, he comes out there. He's throwing it to CD Lamb. He's giving him the work. Noah Brown, a guy that they didn't even think was a good wide receiver. He's making him look good. He doesn't even have to throw it to Dalton Schultz because he's got Michael Gallup back and he's catching touchdowns too. Okay, Zeke, Tony Pollard in the backfield. Trayvon Diggs decided to play defense this year. You got Michael Parsons.
he led
You
the
got
league in picks last
DeMarcus
year.
Lawrence. These boys are going to the Super Bowl. Okay, I'm with Michael Irvin when I say that the Dallas Cowboys are looking like a different kind of team because right now they decided that they had to be a different kind of team with Dak Prescott out.
And I'm gonna be honest, I think they're gonna fall off whenever Dak Prescott comes back.
I'm worried about it. I am a little bit.
They're 4-0 with Cooper Rush. Beat the losers of the
3-0,
Super Bowl
3-0,
and the Bengals.
3-0.
Oh yeah, I'm tripping. 3-0.
But
Anyways, 3-0 with Cooper Rush at the helm and 0-1 with Dak Prescott at the helm.
listen, if Cooper Rush beats the Rams next week,
If
it's
Cooper Rush beats the Rams, trade Dak Prescott to somebody and sign Cooper Rush to a 10-year, $400 billion deal. Billion with a B. As in
oh
boy.
man, I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna have to make a nickname for Cooper Rush at some point here.
Dude.
Let's talk about the Giants real quick. The Giants, like we said earlier, Daniel Jones is doing enough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, giving the ball to Saquon. Saquon had 31 attempts last week. When the boys eat and let him eat. Okay, the only thing, and the Giants, you know, you don't hear a lot past those two guys because every wide receiver they have gets hurt.
Mm-hmm.
When they get some of these wide receivers back, like Kadarius Toney and Wandale Robinson, like this could be a decent core of talent on the offensive side of the ball, and the defense is keeping it together enough to allow them to continue to hand the ball to Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I think that the Giants are going to be competing for the division title at the end of the year? Absolutely not. But over 500 is not out of the question. And
No,
that's
absolutely not.
great for them. The Washington Commanders. When Carson Wentz hits his strides, they will win ball games. And he will. He'll go 2 or 3 games in a row. He'll look good. They'll win some ball games. He'll go 2 or 3 games in a row looking like crap. They ain't going to win those ball games. They're about to get Brian Robinson back. They've got 3 of the best wide receivers in the NFC East. I'm not going to say the NFC and I'm not going to say the NFL, but 3 of the best wide receivers in the NFC East. I will say that right now. Talent all over the place for the Redskins. Defensively, not the greatest. They need some guys to get back from injury. It could be better, but don't be surprised if they knock off some teams they're not supposed to when Carson Wentz is actually playing like a man possessed that he sometimes does.
Yeah.
But overall, NFC East, I'm big on them this year. It's finally time for them to turn it around. They look a lot better coming out the gates, a lot better than they have in the past like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. All right. Ready for my last one?
Oh, yeah.
The Jaguars will win the AFC South.
I like it.
The Titans aren't going to be able to keep up with them. I don't think now. I know they're both 2-2 right now, but I just think that the Jaguars have looked way better than the Titans so far. And I know Trevor Lawrence had weird week, fumbled 4 times, but like that's probably not going to happen again. Like hopefully not. But I really, really think that that is a weaker division in my opinion, and I think that the Jaguars can absolutely win it.
Yeah, other than they had the weird loss to the Commanders in week 1, but that was back whenever we were thinking like, oh, well, they ain't going to be much. Yeah.
And that was one of those games Carson Wentz didn't look that bad.
Yeah. But then you got a great win over the Colts, a good win over a good Chargers team.
Mm-hmm.
And competitive against the Eagles. So
yeah. And the Eagles right now have looked like the best team in football.
Couple games coming up for them. They got the Texans. They got the Colts again. They got the Giants, the Broncos, the Raiders. Then they play Chiefs, Ravens. That's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Lions, Titans, Cowboys, Jets, Texans, Titans.
I'm thinking a lot of W's in that span, man.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot of W's.
The only 2 where I feel like I'm absolutely like not thinking they're winning is Chiefs and Ravens in those back-to-back weeks. Like,
yep.
Now they might lose a few of the other games, but I just really feel like they have a chance, a better chance to win every other game than they do those two in particular.
Yeah, a lot of good weapons on that offense. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, Trevor Lawrence is turning it around.
Yep.
Christian Kirk has come over there. They gave him a bag to come over, and everybody's like, "What? He didn't do anything in Arizona, not much, you know." And he's come over there and looked good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then they have Zay Jones who's come over.
Yeah.
He's been a trooper. He's been on several different teams, and he's looking good.
Yeah.
Uh, then in the backfield they've got two pretty competent running backs in my opinion. Jamal
Yeah.
Robinson has always been their guy, and then Travis Etienne is a good change of pace guy. Just
Yeah.
receptions out of the backfield, whatnot. Defense kept the Chargers to 10 points, held the Colts scoreless.
I think held their Eagles to the lowest point total of the year. Correct?
I think they had a 24 game if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe they
But
did.
now, like I said, the Eagles haven't had to do much in the second half to win
Mm-hmm.
ball games or anything. But Jacksonville jumped up on them 14-0 at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah, and then that was I think when Trevor Lawrence just went on a fumbling spree there and just kind of just really turned the tables on themselves.
Yeah, the Eagles scored 24 twice. They won 24-7 and they won 24-8. But I'm pretty sure in both those games they didn't have to score a single point in the second half.
Yeah, and I mean that might just be a testament to how good the dang Eagles are.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, the Jaguars come out and jumped all over them and looked like
Mm-hmm.
they were really going to do something. I know the yardage numbers still weren't that good.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles' defense is just really good.
Yeah.
So, but I absolutely think that Jacksonville could come out of that division as a number one seed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rooting for it. In fact, I
Yeah.
like to see new teams go to the playoffs and young teams at that.
All right, so Kobe, let's play a quick game here.
Oh, I love playing games.
Oh God. All right, so we need to pick each other's hottest take. Which take of mine do you think is the least likely to happen, or which one's the hottest take?
I mean, obviously, well, we had a conversation about it just a little bit ago. I think the least likely to happen because there's so many good teams in the
Yeah,
AFC is
the
that
Bengals one.
Cincinnati,
Yeah.
wins there's just too many good teams though.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with the fact that Cincinnati is not good.
Yeah.
It's just so many good teams could come up and win that for
Yeah.
sure. And like you said, I think that the Bills Chiefs is like the top layer.
Yeah, and I'll say that the Bills haven't looked as dominant as they did in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
I think so. If they keep playing like this, teams will sneak out some wins against them.
Yeah. Which one do you think of mine?
Run through all of them real quick. I can't remember every one of them.
Okay, so the first one I said was that the Rams aren't the team to beat anymore in the
Oh, that's not really a
NFC.
hot take. I don't think. I think that's just fact.
Each division has a resurging quarterback.
No, I agree. I agree with that one for the most part.
The Lions' offense is legit. They're a real deal. Okay.
That's up there.
NFC,
That's
the
the
NFC only has a couple teams running back situation that I don't want any part of in fantasy football. And then that the NFC East is back.
Probably the NFC East is back because I don't see the Giants sustaining success.
Yeah.
And now the Eagles are back, I think, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the Cowboys, it might just be a horseshoe up Cooper Rush's butt right now.
Yeah.
But if they can get Dak back, I really don't know that they're better off. They might lose more games than they'll win. They would win with Cooper Rush. From what I saw in Week 1 with Dak before he was hurt.
Yeah.
And what I've seen with Cooper Rush the 3 weeks after that.
He's looked a lot more accurate and consistent than Dak did right out the gate there. But next 2 weeks, Cowboys play the Rams, Cowboys play the Eagles. We'll figure something out those 2 weeks for sure.
That's for sure. Yeah, definitely.
If they're 3-3 after that, I don't think you're hitting the panic button just yet. I still think they could be a playoff team for sure.
Yeah, and I think those are 2 teams that those aren't shameful losses to those 2 teams.
Let's see here. Nick, there's a lot of 1-3 teams, 1-2 teams. Real quick before we go, pick a team with a losing record that you think could make the playoffs. because it's almost mathematically impossible that nobody's ever done it before. But pick a team with a losing record that you think can make the playoffs.
With a losing record that I think can make the playoffs. I don't have to think about it. Oh, the Lions.
So you are on board with the Lions on that.
Yeah.
Um,
I really think that the offense can somewhat sustain the success, but the defense, if they can just pick it up a little bit, just a little bit.
yeah, and I think I'm gonna have to go NFC as well. There's just a lot of 2-2s in the NFC, so a lot of opportunity still. Those teams are only one game back. I'm gonna go with the Saints
That's
because
not a bad one.
yeah, I do think that defense is gonna kind of keep pulling together. We haven't seen the best of that defense. They're always a team that gets it done down the stretch. They've got a couple players be injured here at the beginning. Thomas has been out, Kamara's been out a little bit. So get guys healthy, get right, look good in the middle of the season. They can
Yeah.
definitely handle. They lost to Carolina. That's a bad loss. That's a bad loss for sure. They could
We're
definitely handle.
Panthers fans.
Yeah, I mean, like they can handle Carolina and Atlanta on the way back, and they gave Tampa Bay a decent game.
Yeah.
So, I think that the Saints definitely have a chance to make the playoffs still.
I think if they can get Jameis back healthy quickly, that
Yep,
really, really helps their odds too.
yep. And I'm telling you what, they were two dinks off the upright
Mm-hmm.
from going to overtime against a pretty good Vikings
The
team.
3-1 Vikings.
So, yeah, exactly. So, but I thought that
Yeah.
was kind of a cool thing just to think about there at the very end.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll have our picks later in the week.
How many
Awful
are
lot.
there a lot of exciting matchups in week 5? I
I'm
hope
sure
there are.
there are. Gosh,
There's gotta
almighty.
be something fire in there.
Week 5, we got Colts Broncos on Thursday night. The battle of can't figure out what to do on
Yeah, right.
offense.
A battle of disappointment so far.
Um, I'm not
Gosh.
seeing anything super juicy yet. Cowboys Rams,
Ooh, that say
Bengals
what
Ravens, and then Raiders Chiefs.
division? Ooh,
Raiders Chiefs is Monday night. Bengals Ravens is Sunday night.
dude.
Yeah, there's
Hey,
some good
Joe
ones in there.
Shiesty in prime time. Come on now.
Yeah, I
You
think
know
there's
what
some
he's gonna
good
do.
some good games in there for sure.
Lamar's throwing 3 picks. Sorry, Devin.
Dang.
I'm just gonna have to talk trash to you this week, man.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Yeah.
another one in the books.
Yeah. What is this? Number 35?
34, 35, one might be
Something like
35.
that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we've been
It's
having a few.
hey, that's good. We've got enough that we don't know what number it is.
Yep, we're gonna catch some traction here. We appreciate
Yeah.
everybody. By the time, I would really like by the time the MLB playoffs is really really heating up, and we're gonna make a couple baseball videos this week, I think, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I really want to try to get to 50 subscribers, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
a
dude,
good
we
goal.
got close. We were at like 46, and then we lost like 5. I didn't know if it was like bot accounts that just kind of got banned or
And
something.
I do think, and we're trying to be more consistent for y'all.
Yeah.
We got in a situation there where first somebody went to visit their significant other, can't blame them. Next, somebody decided to go into hibernation for a week. Can't listen. Don't know what happened to him.
Hey, it was just an odd
Um,
week. It was just an odd
yeah.
week.
So we're
Yeah.
trying to get back on the train here tomorrow. Probably coming at you with some baseball.
Yeah. MLB
Baseball
awards.
tomorrow. All right, looking forward to it.
All right. There's going to be a video under Colby and an option to subscribe under me. You're going to have to hit that subscribe button, and then you're going to have to watch that video. And then, most importantly, comment and let us know what you think about these takes. Let us know if you agree or disagree with any of them. If you're a Colts fan, I'm sorry. Your team's disappointing me this year. But the Jaguars, they ain't disappointing me. They're going to come out on top. All right. Thanks for watching.